Hey guys, my name is Mary Chris Valdez Castro, and I work at a molecular biology lab at Atlas Genomics. And I was tasked with answering a few questions like, how did I get to work at a molecular biology lab in the first place at Atlas Genomics? And I want to tell you all it's by happy accident. I had never fully considered a career in molecular biology before, and the idea of working in a molecular biology field actually wasn't on my radar. So I have a degree in biology and, am pursuing higher studies. And I thought, wow, I can't really work in this field yet. So I was working actually as a medical assistant at a clinic in Fife, kind of here in Washington, outside of Tacoma. And one of our pathologists asked, just a question, like, oh, well, he wasn't even asking a question. He just stated a fact that, he's a pathologist and working in his own lab too, and mentioned how busy they were because of the pandemic. And so I offered my services, and there you go. I was offered on-the-job training to work in their molecular biology lab. And yeah, so I have a really big curiosity for science in general, and I really enjoy learning. And so if you come in with a great attitude, I think anyone would be happy to teach you something new. The next question is, how is a molecular biologist different from other scientists? So molecular biology is the study of living things at the molecular level. So generally it is a specialized branch of biochemistry. So there are two types of molecules in molecular biology are nucleic acids and proteins, and biochemistry is a branch of science concerned with the chemical and physiochemical processes and substances which occur within living organisms. So, molecular biology is the branch of biology that deals with the structures and functions of the macromolecules, for example, proteins and nucleic acids that are essential to life. And thus, this is the main difference between biochemistry and molecular biology. So, you can think of biochemistry as this big umbrella under this bigger umbrella of biology, and biochemistry answers questions. Um, Molecular biology also answers those questions, all of them underneath this big, big, big umbrella of biology, and molecular biology is right underneath biochemistry in that. So just think of it that way if you're trying to think about the differences. And the next question is, how is bioinformatics used in molecular biology? So molecular biology is something that studies, yeah, those interactions of macromolecules. And so one of the basic tools is molecular cloning. So we use that in a process called PCR, so polymerase chain reactions. And so when we are in the process of cloning or amplifying the presence or absence, we're going to amplify the presence of something, even if it's just a very, very, very small amount. Like the viral load, for example, might be very, 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 very low. But if it's even present, even just a little bit, we'll be able to amplify that or clone it to the amount where it's detectable. And that's why PCR is a very sensitive reaction. And bioinformatics lets us know if that amplification is significant enough or not to constitute, like, if someone's COVID positive, um, COVID negative, if it's a strong positive, or definitely negative. So bioinformatics is how we interpret that data that we get from our experiments. And the next question is, what is the recent research that I have conducted? So one of our clients is the Fred Hutch Research Institute, which is the leading cancer research institute in America and maybe the world, and we actually do contracted COVID-19 research with them. And so I perform RT-PCR, which is real-time polymerase chain reactions that, yeah, measure the presence or absence, again, of COVID-19. And our work is essential for maintaining the integrity of this study that uses real human participants, and seeing, the efficacy um, of the vaccines that we're doing. So that is one of the cool research I get to be a part of. And next question is, what procedures, techniques, practices do you love the most in the molecular biology laboratory? And I I would have to say it is performing specifically just because of the way that we perform it at an industrial level is uh, RT-PCR of STIs. So an STI panel, it's 364 wells, and um, yeah, it's just really, really cool that we're able to determine the presence or absence of so many diseases, and let people know in a very short amount of time if they are positive or negative for a certain disease, so they can start treatment right away or know that they've dodged a bullet and don't need to pursue that treatment. Um, so I think I think it's one of my favorites. And yeah, as I mentioned before, I didn't know I would be jumping into this field. My original track was becoming a medical doctor, so I think maybe in the future I might pursue pathology. So you never know, um, and complete my medical doctorate. And yeah, uh, yeah. So again, some advice I would want to share with you as you pursue your careers and potentially cell and molecular biology. I want to just say, go for it. Don't feel afraid to ask questions. There's no such thing as a stupid question. And don't have any regrets. When I first started working at Atlas Genomics, not only was I the only Filipina, but I was the only brown skinned girl in the room in the entire company. And as soon as I arrived, they had another diversity training. I guess because they were like, "Oh, well, there's a diversity in the room," and to this day, there are now two more Filipinas who work. So they are like, "Oh, we like hiring these." So as you continue to venture out into these fields that maybe might not have a lot of us in, especially in molecular biology, I encourage you to consider breaking that glass ceiling for that company or breaking that glass ceiling for your family and becoming the first in your family to work in this type of lab setting. And the clinical diagnostic tools research answers that we get make a big difference not only for the individual clients that we serve, whether it be a research based client or one-on-one, finding if someone has cancer or not. Those are big, important questions that we find answers to. So I encourage you to be those people if you have the integrity. I want to tell you, I'm not a perfect person. I've made a lot of mistakes before, and I want you to know that I've made a lot of mistakes on the job. But the most important thing is to just be honest, and your integrity as a scientist, as someone in the science field, as someone who people depend on for the right answer, and not just once, but every time. That is not only your reputation, that is your company's reputation um, that has put their name in your hands, your very capable hands. So as you pursue your careers, remember that your hands are making a huge impact in not just what's in the lab, but around it, the whole community and the whole world. So thank you for having me. Have a great night. Bye.